And we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live on a Monday evening, Monday night here in the UK. Dark, wet, windy, typical winter night. But spring is on the way. Spring is not too far away, which I'm looking forward to be honest. I get sick of winters the older I get. I get sick of them. Can't stand winter these days. Really can't. I need to retire. I need to retire in a warm climate. Sick of these UK dark winters. I really am. But yeah, first stream in a while on this channel. I forgot the last time I streamed. To be honest, must have been a month ago, maybe something like that. But yeah, the year's underway now. We should start getting some cards in the next few weeks, boxing cards. And yeah, there's a couple of fights I'm looking forward to in the next couple of months. Maurizio Lara versus Lee Wood is one fight I'm looking forward to. Should be a really fun matchup. I make Lara a favourite, but Lee Wood's definitely got a good chance. You also have Subriel Matias versus Jeremias Ponce for the vacant IBF title at 140. That's going to be a great fight. And honestly, the fight I'm looking forward to most would be David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. I think that's a really good fight. Really, really good fight. Yeah, what's up, Kyle? How you doing, bro? Big up to Stefan, by the way. Big up to Stefan. Good follow on Twitter is Stefan. Very good follow on Twitter. Yeah, game changed. Game changed. DAZN once again changing their price structure. And by the way, I never got any notification from DAZN. No email or nothing. Had to log on to actually see the new price structure. So basically, the new price structure is, on my plan, it goes from $7.99 per month to £19.99 per month. Alternatively, you can lock yourself in for a year contract and pay $9.99 a month. I don't like being locked in on any contract, really, if I can help it. So I just decided to cancel. I've been subbed since day one. I liked the idea behind DAZN, but I'll say this now. DAZN have terrible customer relations. They really do, man. They're so fucking sneaky and conniving. DAZN. Terrible customer relations. Terrible. And for what? Influencer boxing and fucking female boxing. Not interested. I'll just steal it. I'll steal it. I feel like Lara's a bit overrated. I don't think nobody's really rating him like that. What he is, he's a dangerous slugger. He's a very dangerous slugger, and you know that style can beat Lee Wood, in my opinion. I think he can definitely beat Lee Wood. It's a good fight, though. What's up, Young Revival? How you doing, bro? Hate to upset you, but War Plant all the way for me. Listen, man, I'm looking forward to it. I like the trash talk. I like the bad blood. It seems genuine. Stylistically, that fight should make for a really interesting matchup. Caleb Plant, more of the classical boxer type. Really good jab, nice speed, good counter puncher. Whereas Benavidez, more of the come forward guy, likes to come forward behind the high guard, put his punches in bunches. It's a good fight, man. It's a really good fight. Looking forward to it. Yeah, getting sick. Yeah, same, Kyle. Same. Yeah, Eddie Hearn's lost touch with the people these days. He's away with the fairies. Yep. And another thing I kind of got annoyed with in regards to DAZN, every single card has to have some sort of female fight on it. That may sound misogynistic, but it's not for me. It's really not for me. That's one thing I'll say for Al Heyman. As much criticism as he gets, at least he doesn't subject me to that shit. Big up to Al Heyman. Thank you, Al Heyman. I mean, as a comeback fight, it's perfectly acceptable, I think, Felipe. As a comeback, coming off 2 losses, I'm not really complaining about it, to be honest. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun. I felt Benavidez was a tad too emotional, to be honest. But it was what it was. There's bad blood there, and I think it's real. Exactly, Stefan. Exactly, yeah. I never got an email notification either. If not for Twitter, I wouldn't have known about the increase. I've been a subscriber since day one as well, but there's just no value in it. I agree. I agree. I mean, again, you can take a price increase if the quality matches, but it doesn't. The quality in the last few months, like in particular when it comes to UK shows, has been really poor. There's only a handful of shows I remember from last year on DAZN UK. Buatsi versus Richards was one I enjoyed. After that, I'm struggling. What was on DAZN UK last year? Conlon versus Wood. So yeah, Conlon versus Wood, Richards Buatsi. I enjoyed those fights. After that, I'm struggling. I can't lie. After that, I'm struggling. What's up, Carlos? How you doing, bro? And thoughts on Edgar being hyped up to be a champion in the future? Edgar? Do you mean Edgar Berlanga? I think Berlanga gets taken apart when he fights someone of any real consequence. He's green as hell, loads up on every single punch, super telegraphed. Defensively, there's a lot there to be desired. And I question his chin as well. I don't rate Berlanga like that. I think someone like John Ryder would take him apart. Yeah, I am. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Everyone knows what's been going on there with Man City. If you believe, so like recently it came out that they were they grossed more revenue than Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, Bayern Munich. If anybody thought that was like authentic, they're fucking stupid. Man City are just a rich club. They're a small club with a lot of money. They can't even sell their ground out when they play Tottenham at home. Man City are a plastic, soulless club. They always have been. Oh, but Man City were a big club before. No, they weren't. Man City were on the level of a Charlton or a Bolton in like 0405. That's the reality when it comes to Man City. They just got lucky. They got lucky. They were gifted their stadium by the council, and then they got lucky again by getting billionaire owners. And hopefully, the book is thrown at them. This may sound salty. I appreciate that as a rival fan, but I hope the book gets thrown at them. I hope a Rangers happens to them and they get relegated to like the conference. Fuck Man City. Fuck Man City. Cooking the books for like the best part of 10, 12 years. Fuck Man City. Not a real club. Even more fraudulent than PSG. In my opinion, Benavidez' style is tailor-made for Plant, but I reckon David will be too big for him. That's a real possibility. I could see a fight similar to Margarito versus Cotto 1, to where Plant starts really well early. He's nice and quick, he's fluid, he's countering and outboxing Benavidez. But that size and perseverance of Benavidez, if Plant can't hurt him and get his respect, I can see Plant fading in the second half of that fight. It's a great fight, though. I agree, Joey. I think he needs to plant his feet at some point in this fight. Maybe not in the first two, maybe not first 2 or 3 rounds, but at some point he'll need to plant his feet and get Benavidez' respect. Bit of a random one. How do you think Bute would have fared against the likes of Benavidez, Plant, and Canelo? Bute was a talented guy, but he was a glass cannon, in my opinion. I think he would be beating Benavidez early on and eventually get stopped. I think he gets stopped by Canelo. And Plant Plant probably would be his best chance of winning. I never rated Bute like that, though. There was a lot of people back in the day who rated Bute highly. I never really rated him. He was decent, but yeah, exactly, Stefan. Yeah, I agree. And again, I first saw that and thought, do you know what? Well done, DAZN. Well done, DAZN. But no, then they released that nonsense about price increases. And again, they've tried to do it so fucking sneakily as well. I doubt we'll get AJ Wilder. Not this year, at least. I'd like to be wrong. If Caleb Plant's stamina held up for a fight, I'd favour him. But David's pressure will break him down, similar to Canelo. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, BT Sports and Sky Sports are in a similar place. Are a similar price to DAZN now, and they have football, cricket, darts, F1, etc. Yeah, exactly. And BT have UFC as well. Far more value for money. Far more value for money. And listen, man, Frank Warren, having a bit of a resurgence. Joyce versus Zili Zhang, regular BT. I'm all for it. What's up, Bruce? How you doing, man? Yeah, DAZN. Listen, man, I really wanted DAZN to succeed. Again, I'm a day one subscriber in the UK. I wanted like another Box Nation, but because Box Nation, people forget it's a bit of a joke now, but Box Nation in their prime was really good. Great fight, yeah. Yeah, I saw the Valdez fight. Yeah, he looked very shaky in certain rounds. Got hurt badly, of course, as well. I know it may be recency bias, but based on that performance, you may favour Valdez to knock him out. Maybe another Birchelt type of fight. But yeah, Navarrete versus Lara would be great. Yeah. Yeah. I don't rate Berlanga. I'll be honest though, unpopular opinion, I'm not completely sold on Xander Zayas either. Not completely sold. Not saying he's bad. Congrats, Del Boy, for scoring 200 Premier League goals for Spurs. Yeah, Haaland's going to bag 250 goals in League Two. It sounds really bitter, but I hope Man City crash and burn. I really do. That's where they belong in like League One. That's where that club belongs. The thing is with Man City, yeah, it pained me. It pained me when Liverpool won the league or when they win the Champions League. But at least it's a real club. I see the passion. You hear the atmosphere. Man City can be winning against a big team. Their crowd is so dead. Everything about that club is dead. Dead club. I'm sorry. Dead club. And the media, yeah, the amount, like the free ride that the media have given Man City over like the past 12, 15 years, crazy. Nobody called that shit out. Nobody. They point fingers at PSG, but nobody called out Man City. Again, a club who can't sell out a home game against Tottenham Hotspurs. And yet, insane. What's up, team? And how you doing? We're ranting about Man City. Great fight. Excellent fight. Nakatani I rate highly, though his last performance didn't really impress me. But I think he'll do the job. I think he'll find a new level against Ioka, and I think he'll win. I think he might take the old man out. I think Ioka's there for the taking now. I really do. It's a great fight, though. It's a great fight. Although we may get another Ioka Tanaka situation. Who knows? Where the old man exposes to the young guy. Who knows? I'd say B-roll on points, Rem. I might watch it, Reese. I might watch it. I'd rather watch that though than like Katie Taylor. Yeah, Navarrete was always going to struggle once he moved up in weight and fought guys his own size. Wilson would have won if not for that BS officiating. Yeah, he was given a lot of time to recover. The only caveat I'll add to that is he was hit when he was down. He was hit when he was down. His gloves were down on the canvas, and then he was hit again. So maybe it evened itself out. Kinda and kinda not. I think people made a bit of a big deal of it, but it is what it is. Yeah, big up G-Man every time. One of the best. Great fight. Great fight. Is that fight signed now? Like completely signed? I favour Inoue. Fulton, I like his output. He's pretty comfortable at mid-range, inside, and he can box a bit as well. I like the versatility, but I think against Inoue, his leaky defense might be his undoing. He gets hit a lot. Fulton, he gets hit a lot. I'm taking Inoue late stoppage. It's a good fight though. Yeah, we was talking about this earlier, G-Man. For me, man, again, what I don't like about DAZN, I never had any email notifying me of these price changes for a start. Basically, like Stefan, I only saw it on Twitter. Then I checked it out and saw the price changes. I mean, the quality hasn't increased for the price to increase first and foremost, but again, £7.99 to £19.99. And yeah, I know you can get it for £9.99 a month, but you have to lock yourself in for 12 months. What happens if there's like 6-8 weeks of no content, like there has been on DAZN? There hasn't been content on DAZN for a while. So I don't like their business practices, to be honest. They're not honest. They're sneaky, man. But they're sneaky. Yeah, exactly, G-Man. They'll just call you a hater. I think it's time the boxing world puts respect on Liam Smith's name, Dude's a warrior. Doesn't gaff about being on the road. Boxing needs more people like Smith. Yes, Liam Smith will fight anybody. I think now though he'll be looking at his options. He'll try and get a cash out fight. If I was Liam Smith, I would try to pursue a Golovkin fight. Try to get Golovkin in the UK. Big pay-per-view fight. That's what I would like to see for him. I know he'll lose, but it'll be fun while it lasts. But maybe Eubank actually, maybe Eubank goes for that fight again. Who knows? But I agree, Liam Smith's a solid fighter. Yeah, exactly, Joey. Yeah, Box Nation was good, man. Yeah, looking forward to Joyce versus Zhang. That's going to be a complete mong-off until Joyce stops him. Can't be too slack defensively, though. Zhang's power is legit, yeah. And he's sneaky. One thing about Zhang, he's good at punching in between your punches with that sort of straight left. It's a very sneaky, crafty shot. That's what I'd be targeting if I was Zhang. I'd be trying to punch with Joe Joyce, trying to catch him square. But he can punch. He can punch. That's a good fight. Yeah, I never hear any casuals talking about DAZN fights. My mates are all casuals, but they all know when fights are on Sky Sports or BT. Yeah, have to tell them about DAZN. Yeah, the only time I noticed the difference in that was when Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn were supposed to fight. That's the only exception. Yeah. So Box Nation back in the day, they had Warren shows. They had the Ryabinsky shows in Russia. They had old Sauerland shows. They had some Golden Boy shows. Box Nation back in the day was good. Well, thank you, JR Smile, legend. Thank you. It'll be hilarious to see all of the plastics jump back to Man United. I think they'll support Chelsea, to be honest. Yeah, I'll be honest, though. I've never been a big fan of boxing movies. I've never been a big fan, to be honest. Just not my thing. Not my thing. I never thought I'd want Jake Paul to win a fight, but here we are. I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of with you. I just want to see it for the lols, really. Opinions on Sam Langford. I mean, I would have to take the opinion of those who wrote about him. I've never seen him. Never seen him fight. Never seen him fight, so I can't really judge. I'll be honest. Same with Harry Greb. I'd rather not see it, but if there's enough money there, I'm sure he'll go down. Yeah, that's a good fight. I mean, Rakhimov didn't impress me against Zelfa Barrett. Rakhimov didn't impress me. I think Cordina, I'd make Cordina a favourite, probably on points. Good fight, though. Now, that's a good fight. Tim Tszyu versus Tony Harrison. Tim Tszyu, Tony Harrison. Both of those guys have fantastic jabs. I think Tony's got a better jab, though. He's more speedy. I could see Tony winning that fight. I think he'll be in the lead after like 6-7 rounds. It's how he copes down the stretch. Because when he gasses, man, he loses that punch resistance. I've got a feeling it's going to be a late Tim Tszyu stoppage. But Tony Harrison's a live dog in that fight. Tony Harrison's a live dog. That's a good fight for Tim Tszyu. Yeah, exactly. Liam Smith is great for modern boxing standards. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, mate? I've been a subscriber since day one, but it's hard now. The problem is Matchroom and Golden Boy don't have the stable to have good enough and regular cards. Yep. I agree, G-Man. And that's one other thing kind of pissed me off. Like, there's been no, like, perks for, like, the original, like, day one subs. No perks whatsoever. So I signed up in what? I think it was November 2020? It was November or December 2020. And I've been signed up since then. But there you go. I'm good, Sly. I'm very good. Yeah, about £10 a month. Yep. Box Nation was incredible value for money back in the day. Had everything from domestic cards to high-profile cards and even completely obscure cards. Exactly. I think Mayweather versus Canelo was part of your Box Nation subscription. That's how good it was. That's how good it was. Probably 126, Carlos. Oh, big up to Sly. Sly tendencies. Thank you, man. Did you see the Navarrete fight? Any thoughts on the long count or messed up scales? Or do you think he's BSing? Also, Wood versus Lara. Tommy beats Paul. In regards to the scales, first I've heard of it, to be honest. In regards to the long count, I see where Liam Wilson is coming from. But at the same time, Navarrete was hit when he was down. Clearly, in my opinion. So I kind of felt it evened itself out, to be honest. I felt it evened itself out. I wasn't as mad with it as many people were. As for Wood versus Lara, I'm going with Wood. I'm going with Lara. Wood's got a good shot. Lara takes a lot of risks, comes in square on, and Lee Wood's a really good straight count. He's a good counter puncher with straight punches, so he could easily time Lara coming in and maybe knocking him out. I could see that. But I've just got a feeling, man, Lee Wood's upright style. I think Lara's going to swarm him, and when he's on his chest, I don't think Wood can fight with him. I don't think Wood can fight with Lara up close, personally. And I think you'll see him wilt. I do. I think you'll see him wilt. I've got Lara by stoppage, probably mid-rounds. Good fight, though. I saw that, yeah, again, joke. Absolute joke. Conor Benn versus Manny Pacquiao. Shameless. Completely shameless. Do you know what I mean? Shameless. Yeah, I've never seen KSI fight. Never seen KSI fight. But I did, honestly, Jake Paul more than likely is his best opponent. I heard Haney wants to go back to DAZN. Well, yeah, they're talking about that Lomachenko fight, which still hasn't been signed. Still hasn't been signed. Again, every big fight, man, it seems we get dicked around for ages before something happens. Every single time. DAZN lack of perks for their loyal customers is what turned me off. Yeah, I agree. Box Nation was free in Ireland. Fucking hell. I'm actually having a beer. This is my, well, I broke my dry, I done dry January. Had my first drink on Friday, I think. And this is one of the last can that is left over. I'm drinking Carlsberg Export, which isn't great, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Be rude not to, right? What if DAZN offered pictures of Ebony Bridges? Would that satisfy you? Absolutely not. I agree, J7. They're the fights I'm looking forward to as well. Wood Lara, Fulton and Niue, Plant Benavidez. Also, Matias versus Ponce as well is another one I'm looking forward to. I like that fight as well. Would surprise me against Conlon. Yeah, say that again. Yeah, Josh Taylor's got a foot injury. And I've heard that Jack Catterall might be fighting in March in a Stay Busy fight on the Akoli card. So we could see him in the ring. I think Jack Catterall needs to fight. Can't keep waiting around. Wouldn't be shocked if Foster pulled the upset. Wouldn't be shocked, but I'll pick Vargas on points. Honestly, it looks like she's been on the steroids, so I'll take it back, G-Man. I'll take it back. Leewood and Ryan Garcia are both 9-4 at the bookmakers. Surely one of them's going to win. I'm picking Garcia over Davis. I'd be very tempted to take those odds on Ryan Garcia. I think that's good value. He's going to fight Spence, apparently. No chance, Albanian boxer, no chance. He'll last a couple of rounds, probably. He'll probably get knocked out in 4 or 5 rounds. Yeah, Islam Makhachev and Volkanovski, champion versus champion. I've got Islam. I think he'll take him down. I think if he takes Volkanovski to the ground, I think he'll stay there. I'd like to see the Taliban kidnap Tommy Robinson. Yeah, boxing's in the gutter. That much that people are looking forward to Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. That's a good point, Kyle. That's a good point. That really does say it all. That really does say it all. It says it all. I feel like we're in the final years of PBC boxing. Hearing how those fighters are struggling to get paid isn't a good sign. I agree. And it looks like the relationship with Fox is on the rocks because there's not as many cards on Fox now. Showtime obviously recently got purchased by Paramount, which may change their programming. It's not looking good for PBC. That's going to be a good fight. Honestly, out of all of the fights scheduled, that's the one I'm looking forward to most, followed by Lara and Wood and Matias and Ponce. Who's done more rituals, Anthony Joshua or Wilder? I'll say Wilder. What's up, Dan? How you doing? That's another thing, though, Rem. Why is Spence versus Furman, if it does happen, more than likely it happens at 154? Why not just defend your fucking titles at welterweight? I mean, Keith Furman is WBC Mando at welterweight. Why the fuck's that fight happening at 154? Nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. That's a good fight, though. I have a feeling if Volkanovski does win it, it's going to be by knockout. Maybe he'll catch Islam by surprise with his speed. But I think if Volkanovski wins, he has to do it early. Because if you let Islam get in that wrestling rhythm and he's consistently taking you down, then Volkanovski is going to get tired. Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul has massive ramifications. In what way? I mean, maybe. People get hurt all the time though in regular boxing, I guess, right? So that's just part of a territory, I would say. That's part of a territory. uh, it's getting tough to follow boxing. It's the worst I've ever seen it. I was saying that recently. I felt 2022 was the worst year I remember in a long time. I don't really count 2020. That was what it was. But 2022 was a bad year in my opinion. I felt it was bad. I felt it was a bad year. This year started okay so far, to be fair. We've had that upset with Liam Smith against Eubank. Yard versus Beterbiev was a great fight. Wilson versus Navarrete was a surprisingly good fight. So we've had some good fights so far, and we've got some good fights coming up. Let's just hope boxing builds on it and does this consistently throughout 2023. We'll see, though. Can't count on boxing to get it right, can you? Yeah, there is that, Alex, but still, PBC are not exactly pulling up trees right now. Irregular cards. A lot of their fighters are very inactive. You know, PBC haven't been great for boxing in recent years. I did a career review. Will be up tomorrow. Looking at the cards this fighter was fighting on and the talent that he was coming up years back got me thinking we're in a dark age. There are no fighters in the UK who look like they're going to be future champions or stars. Yeah, there's very few. There's very few guys you can get excited about right now. Adam Azim, if he's good, if he gets to a decent level, he could be a big star. Like it or not, Conor Benn could be a big star. But again, how good will they be in terms of world level? I don't think Conor Benn's going to be anything special world level. He'll be a star, but I don't think he's going to be a special world level fighter. Adam Azim, who knows, but he's got star potential. Outside of that, I'm struggling. Outside of that, I'm really struggling. There's some good young fighters, but like again, we're talking about future stars. Yeah, big up G-Man. I'd say Golden Boy maybe. I'd say Golden Boy J7 because maybe they could match him up with someone like Spike O'Sullivan, then maybe get a DAZN fight with John Ryder. I would say Golden Boy or Matchroom. Again, it's one of those fights I'm not counting on. Because if I don't count on it, I won't be disappointed when it doesn't happen. I'll try and be pessimistic. I'll try and enjoy what is scheduled. But I'm not going to think about fights that are not. I hope it happens, bro. I hope it happens. So that's a good fight for him, Albanian boxer. That's a good fight for Florian Marku. Not in the sense of like seeing how Joshua looks under his new trainer, but in regards to it being like a competitive fight, not really. I'm more interested in seeing how Joshua looks under his new trainer, whether he's implemented any new techniques or things of that nature. Not yet. It's not confirmed yet, Reese. Not confirmed yet. I've said that for years, Rem. Overpaying these fighters is what's leading to the shit quality matchups. Back in the day, the best way to make money was by boxing and fighting the best. Yeah, boxing regularly and fighting the best. Exactly. But, these days, if you're a fighter, let's say I'm a champion at whatever weight class, let's say middleweight, for example, and I can get $1 million fighting some complete scrub, why would I fight a dangerous guy for like 2 million? You see that with Andrade and Janabek. Andrade was getting paid like $1 million to fight the likes of Luke Keeler. If you're Andrade, why would you fight Janabek for similar money? You're right. These overinflated purses, they kill fighters' desire. Because most of these fighters who get paid that money are not worth it. Do you think Matchroom ever made a profit on Andrade? Any of his shows? I doubt it. And a lot of it is, it's like DAZN. When DAZN first came along, they was throwing a lot of money at at boxers to sign, which is all well and good, but that just kills their hunger. It kills their hunger. We saw the same with the PBC. When these promoters are spending money that isn't theirs, man, it kills fighters' hunger. It kills fighters' hunger because they're not really bothered if they make a loss or not. That's why the UFC is so successful. Say what you want about fighter pay, but they run that shit as a business. They run that shit as a business. Al Heyman never run the PBC as a business. He got investor money, which he fucking squandered, but he took his 15% every time. So he made his money, but he never run it as a business. Like when DAZN gave Eddie all that money, it was no skin off his nose whether he made money or not in that sense, because it wasn't his money that we're putting on the cards. He wasn't risking his own capital. And when you get situations like that, that leads to a lot of guys being overpaid. Eventually, this financial bubble in boxing has to burst. It has to burst. Maybe Ben Whittaker. Yeah, he's got that kind of swagger about him. But again, is he good enough? Say what you want about Amir Khan. Prime Amir Khan was fucking exciting. Yeah, there's that as well. People annoyed about Franklin as an opponent astounds me. Fury fought Schwartz and Chisora for a third time, and Franklin arguably beat White, and that's the second best opponent Fury's beat since Wilder. Yeah, there is that. That's a good point. Yeah, I agree, G-Man. Yeah, Ben at world level will get smashed, PEDs or not. It's amazing that there are still people adamant that he's innocent and claiming stuff that Hearn isn't even saying. Bizarre, of course, they are DAZN fanboys too. Yeah, exactly. A lot of these guys are just invested for whatever reason in certain promotional companies. That's the weirdest thing when it comes to boxing fans. Well, yeah, he is talking about coming back. Obviously, we heard that leaked phone call with Ben Shalom. What that was about, I don't know, but seems like Billy Joe's going to come back. Who's he going to fight, though? That's the thing. Who's Billy Joe going to fight? I can't see who he fights. I wouldn't go that far in regards to the drug thing, but yeah, UFC is just delivering a better product. No, I didn't. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, agreed. I don't really want to see Billy Joe Saunders fight again, to be honest with you. Who's he fighting? Albanian, but I don't even know who he's fighting. As someone from the USA looking into the UK, I'm interested in following Fabio Wardley and Ben Whittaker's careers. Yeah, Fabio Wardley is fun to watch. I can't lie. He's fun to watch. His fight with Nathan Gorman was real fun. And for a guy who took up boxing late, I think he took up boxing at like 19. He had no amateur fights. He's done well. He's done well. And yeah, I like watching him fight as well. I like watching him fight. Thing is with Fabio Wardley, given the lack of experience, they need to take their time with him. They need to take their time with him. Yeah, fighters no longer prize fight for the most part. They just find the most money in the safest opponent. Yeah. Yeah. It's like those wankers. Have you seen that game, TV game show, The Chase? It's basically like boxers now, when they're playing The Chase, they always pick the lowest amount of money with like the easiest route to get through. If you've seen that game show, you know what I'm talking about. That's what most of these boxers are like. I don't argue with you there, Albanian boxer. I'd say he'll fight. Oh shit! Who do you think AJ should fight next if he loses? I'd say retire, because if he can't beat Franklin, he's done. I'd say retire. What's better for GGG? Him fighting Liam Smith in the UK, which will sell, or Erislandy Lara, that will sell less, but is his mandatory, and in my opinion, is a better win for his resume. I think Liam Smith, man. I'd rather see Liam Smith, to be honest. I mean, Lara's like 40 years old now. Lara's old, whereas Liam Smith is still basically in his prime, more or less. He's in and around his prime still. Lara's far removed from his prime. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'd say Liam Smith, man. It's a bigger fight. It's gonna be more exciting. I'd rather see Liam Smith, to be honest. Christ. Do you think Zach Parker could beat Billy Joe right now? I mean, Zach Parker, any fan base he built goes out the window. What he did against John Ryder was unacceptable. Should have carried on for longer, in my opinion. Yeah, that would have been a good fight, Lee. Jose Ramirez would have ended the Ben hype if that fight would have happened. I probably agree with you, bro. I honestly probably agree. Del, do you think there's been sellouts in the YTBC, as in channels who were somewhat neutral but are now shilling for certain promoters? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. If Eddie Hearn piped Sky, I'll give him his credit. I'll give him his credit. Maybe I'll stop hating on him for a little while. Yeah, it basically is, bro. They pick the easiest route. So basically, when you pick the least amount of money, you have less questions to get right. Yeah. Yeah, the Smith fight would be a better watch. Exactly. And given where Golovkin's at in his career, he stopped caring about resume. He stopped caring about that. So I say, fuck it, make the Liam Smith fight. Why not? Why not? Yeah, the chase is rigged, just like boxing. Parker would KO Saunders. Saunders was never any good at super middle. I'd agree that he wasn't great at super middle. Would Parker knock him out though? I don't know about that. Zach Parker really, really disappointed me in that fight. He really disappointed me. I don't care whether his hand was injured. He could have gone on a little longer. And smiling at the end, like, I'd be gutted. You'd be devastated if you was like in a world title eliminator and an injury stopped you. You'd be devastated. That guy was smiling like a Cheshire cat. Again, he's another guy after that. don't really care to see him again, to be honest. Should retire. Honestly. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I'm being too cynical. I'm past, honestly, bro. I'm past caring about the Andrew Tate thing. It all seems fake to me. Honestly, Kamil Sakalovsky probably would beat Francis Ngannou in a boxing match. Yeah, I'm not convinced either. Prime for prime, it's a close fight, but this Billy Joe has come back from being obese and has been out of a ring for almost 2 years. Probably done. Yeah, he probably is done. He probably is done. But again, based on what I saw from Parker, I don't think it's going to take a special fighter to beat him. And skill for skill, Billy Joe's a lot better. Good. I think that's a good link up, Rem. I think that's a very good link up. Lawrence Okolie and Sugar Hill, yeah. Lawrence Okolie needs to be keeping guys at arm's length behind that jab, long, straight, hard punches. I think Sugar Hill's a very good trainer for Lawrence Okolie. That Kronk style should suit Okolie. I think that's a good link up. Now, honestly, Felipe, he needs a few 4-rounders at a low level. 3 or 4 4-rounders at a low level, fight every month. Because he's pretty old, he's like 36. Have 3 or 4 4-rounders in quick succession, then a 6-rounder, then an 8-rounder. Try and get some rounds, and then take a risk. Will John Ryder lay down or give it a go against Canelo? He'll lay down. He'll lay down, and people are going to say, oh, he was so brave. You know, they'll say he gave it a go, but he's not going to. And it astounds me, talking about shills and sellouts, it astounds me that people are calling for that fight and people think it's acceptable. It astounds me. It really does. We all know how that fight's going to play out. Let's not fuck around here. Like, before Benavidez plant was made, why are boxing channels saying, oh, John Ryder, he deserves the Canelo fight more? What's it to you? Like, what's it to you? We're boxing fans, right? We all know what the better fight is. We all know who gives Canelo a better fight, and it's Benavidez. Well, you don't know that, Del Boy. I do. And I'll bet anybody on that as well. Insane. And I like John Ryder, yeah, but we know this story. We've seen this before. With certain guys fighting Canelo, and John Ryder fits that mold. That's all John Ryder's. That's all he cares about. I want that Canelo payday. He's not talking about beating Canelo. He's not talking with confidence. It's his retirement fight. It's his nest egg. I'm not interested in that fight. It's a shit fight, in my opinion. Big up to Nicholas Curry. Seems like a psyop to me, but regardless, Tate said over 50% of his cam girls were his girlfriends, and he met them before they worked for him. That's literally evidence of grooming. I'm not sure whether that's illegal, though. I'm not sure what's illegal in regards to that sort of thing. You know what I mean? What's up, Randy Orton? Yeah, no chance we're going to get Better Bivol next. Yeah, it's going to be Callum Smith or Beterbiev next. Yeah, I hope Callum Smith gets folded. I really do. Yeah, we was talking about that earlier, Randy. Yeah, not good news. I cancelled my DAZN subscription. Are you serious, Jared? Have you heard about Masvidal's boxing card? Roy Jones is fighting Anthony Pettis. Are you serious? Is Masvidal fighting as well? It makes sense because Masvidal is from Florida, as is Roy Jones. Maybe they've linked up. Oh my god, Roy Jones Jr. versus fucking Pettis. Oh my goodness me. God, goodness gracious me. Boxing matches. So this is the card, a 4-fight event, all boxing. Roy Jones Jr. versus Anthony Pettis. Jacare Souza versus Vitor Belfort, boxing. Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Stevens, boxing. And Paul Daly versus Anthony Taylor, boxing. Paul Daly, of course, if you guys know, he was he had that great fight with Nick Diaz in Bellator or Strikeforce, whatever it was. Yeah, more than likely, bro. Yeah, he went out on his shield. That's going to be the narrative. It's so predictable. It's so predictable. So Billy Joe, who's he made quit? Billy Joe, Callum Smith basically quit. Who else? I forget who else he fought, to be honest. Who is the third best fighter at light heavyweight? I think it's too hard to tell, to be honest. I think it's too hard to tell. We need some more matchups to ascertain that. I don't know about Wash, but I think he'd beat him. Rem, I think he'd beat him. Yeah, I agree. In order to get a Canelo fight, you have to either take a dive or be paid pennies and hope you don't get robbed. That's what it seems like to me. Yeah, Morel, I like Morel. I do. I was saying about him when I saw him fight Lennox Allen, I think it was, and I was really impressed. Strikeforce, that was it. Yeah, Strikeforce. Yeah, Paul Daly. Paul Daly could crack. Paul Daly was one of the UK's sort of first MMA exports. Uh, along with he came through at a similar time to Michael Bisping. He was a good fighter. He was never elite, but he was a good, solid fighter in his day, Paul Daly. And of course, there was also Lee Murray, if you guys know who that is, who fucked his career up. He conducted the biggest robbery I think, in world history to this day. Lee Murray, yeah, Lee Murray was a crazy guy, man. He fought Anderson Silva and he lost, but he went the distance. And this was a Lee Murray who was getting in street altercations, getting stabbed, basically being a gangster. He wasn't training properly, and he managed to take Anderson Silva the distance. Lee Murray is one of those guys, complete wasted talent. If you guys remember Lee Murray, yeah, Lee Murray was a bad boy. He was a bad boy. Yeah, he knocked out Tito in a street fight. Yeah, that's the story. And a lot of people confirm it. I think Bruce Buffer confirmed it. Yeah, Paul Semtex Daly, yeah. See, that's the thing with MMA. Like, those sort of guys could still have a career, and they still do. Guys who are middle of a road, but you know you're going to get a good fight. There's very few guys like that in boxing now. Have you noticed that? There's very few guys like that in boxing now. Chisora, I guess, is one. Gabe Rosado a couple of years ago was one. But boxing needs more of those middle road guys who fight each other and always deliver. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Liam Wilson. I'd like to see him fight again after that. You might be right, Lee. You might be right. I can't see Joe Smith recovering. By the way, speaking of light heavyweight, Alexander Vodsik's coming back. He's got a fight scheduled this weekend. 8-rounder. What's up, man? What's up, Levi? How you doing, bro? Yeah, he knocked him out in a street fight, yeah. It's one of those things, man. I wish somebody filmed it. Callum Smith is fighting in March against an unknown Polish guy. No, I think Lee Wood is good odds. At those odds, that's good value. I am picking Lara, but those odds are too wide, in my opinion. Yeah, he's coming back. He's got a fight scheduled on BoxRec, and I saw I can't find the fucking article anymore, but he was talking about a comeback. This was a few months ago, and he's got a fight scheduled on BoxRec, so I'm assuming he's coming back. And don't forget as well, he's been sparring with he sparred Canelo in the build-up to the Bivol fight. He sparred Ramirez in his build-up to the Bivol fight, so he's been active in the gym as well. I think he's coming back. I agree, Lee. I agree. Lee Wood at those odds is worth a punt. Probably not J7. I'm not a big boxing movie guy, I'll be honest. Never been a big boxing movie guy. Yeah, if Vozik can get back to the level he was at before the Beterbiev knockout, he gives anyone problems at 175. Yeah, I agree. And he was doing well against Beterbiev until like the 6th round, which is when he started to fall to pieces. But Vozik could really box. I would agree. Fast Eddie Chambers also coming back this month at heavyweight, believe it or not, per BoxRec. Christ. Yeah, it definitely happened. It definitely happened. Again, like if he took his career seriously, I mean, who knows how good that guy could have been. I'm not saying he would have been like a UFC champion, but he would have had a good career. He would have had a good career. You know, I think he would have been. He was basically like the English version of Nick Diaz, is the best way I could describe him. Pretty much. Yeah, I cancelled mine today, Jared. Vodzik is 36, I want to say. I'd say, from what I read, in the report I read a couple of months ago, he kind of insinuated that he wanted to come back fight, see how he felt, and then target Joe Smith Jr. That's what I was reading. I think that's a good return strategy. He's 36, he can't waste time, have his comeback fight and try and fight Joe Smith. I don't mind that. Ritson or O'Hara? I'd probably take Ritson Lee, but O'Hara can knock him out. I'll probably watch it the next day, Will, on YouTube or like Daily Motion, wherever it gets uploaded. I'll watch it. I'm kind of intrigued. I am kind of intrigued, Will. I'm not going to lie. More so for like the freak show element than anything else. But I am kind of looking forward to it. Yeah, Lee could have been a champion at 185. He could have beaten Ivan Tanner or Tito. Yeah, Tito was. He's one of those guys just rubs me up the wrong way. Something about that guy, man. I need to get more into MMA. I always enjoy. I always enjoy it when I watch it. I just don't watch it religiously. But every time I watch it, I enjoy it. Oh yeah, Gilbert Burns will beat Jorge, yeah. Or Jorge. Most underappreciated fighter today. Um, underappreciated. Underappreciated. Probably Ioka. Probably Ioka, I would say. I'm not going to say like Better Biev or Bivol in UA. They are casual. You know, the casuals don't really check for those guys, but they have their like hardcore fan bases. Nobody really talks about Ioka like that. He's had a great career. I'll say Ioka. Yeah, Vodzik is the 175 version of Keith Thurman, 3 years inactive, yeah. That fight on the undercard is interesting. Ward versus Kolomatov. Thomas Ward hasn't fought anyone for years. About time he stepped up. What card is that on, Lee? Maybe I'm having a brain fart here. What card is that on? He's one of those Uzbek kids. I think I've seen that guy fight before. Oh, that Newcastle card. Okay. That is a good fight, actually. That is a good fight. Is that some sort of eliminator? That's a solid fight. I think he might lose that, Lee. That's actually a good card, Lee. That Newcastle card. What channel is that going to be on? Lee McGregor's also coming back on that card. So yeah, Lewis Ritson versus O'Hara Davis. Good fight, super lightweight. Thomas Patrick Ward versus Otabek Kolomatov. Good fight. You got Lee McGregor coming back. Decent little card, that. I think he is favourite, Will. I think he is favourite. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he looks after that time off. Hopefully he fights this weekend. On BoxRec, it's still showing as TBA. Let's have a look. Is it still showing that way? He's fighting on the 11th. But it was showing TBA. Let's have a look. Where is it? I can't even find a fucking card now. Hang on 1 second. Now it's off BoxRec now. It's not on BoxRec anymore. It's not on BoxRec anymore. So fuck knows. Fuck knows. Yeah, it is. It is a very top-heavy division. Yeah, outside of Better BF and Bivol, there's not really much else. They need a World Boxing Super Series tournament. Yeah, what you need really is the other contenders to fight each other, make a name for themselves. Nah, apology, no way. I'd imagine it's going to be super expensive. And in London, so nah, fuck that. Sonny's okay. Sonny's okay. Yeah. I need to get more into MMA. Yeah, Prograis is underappreciated. I like Prograis a lot. Yeah, he's a good fighter. And how we've I mean, I'm not a genius. I think anyone could have called it. Tiafimo getting cold feet now about fighting Prograis. Who could have seen that coming? Who could have seen that coming? Fucking hell. Oh, Jarrell Miller versus Lucas Brown. Yeah, that fight's official. I'm all for it. Nah, that's nonsense, Albanian boxer. That's nonsense. Okay, it's the WBA eliminator. Okay, cool. Yeah, what's up, Nordic? How you doing, bro? God bless. Exactly. That's what I'm all here. That's what I'm here for. Lucas Brown versus Jarrell Miller. Exactly. Fuck it. That's what I'm here for. And it will be a fun fight while it lasts. That'll be a fun fight. It's gonna be so sloppy as well. Hopefully those. What do you reckon is more entertaining? Both guys are clean, and it's like super sloppy. Like both guys are gassed after a round, or do you want to see both guys sauced up? What do you want to see? Both guys sauced up, or both guys clean? I'm looking forward to it though. Yeah, I mean Lucas Brown's having a fucking career renaissance. God bless him. Thank you, Edward, man. Big up to Edward. I like the idea of a juiced sport, the peak of combatability. I've seen some rumors about Conor Benn versus Josh Kelly being made. Great fight. I'd take that fight. I would take that fight, Lee. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy. I'd be happy. That's a good fight at 154. I'm assuming Conor can't make welterweight anymore. So I'm assuming that's going to be at 154. Yeah, that's the thing. You're right. Miller's got more output and he's faster in terms of hand speed, but Brown has that one hitter quitter. And Brown's been more active, I believe. Interesting. He's a good fighter, J7. He impressed me against Butayev. I picked Butayev to win that fight. Basically, I expected that fight to go how it ended, like Butayev really getting on top in the last few rounds. I expected that to come earlier from Butayev, but it never did. Stanionis' jab early on was really good. He was countering Butayev quite effectively as well. He impressed me in that fight. Stanionis is what I would describe as a steady Eddie, as in he does all of the basics well. He's strong, decent power, nice and compact, but he doesn't have that dynamic element to his game, like the versatility or the speed or insane punching power. He doesn't have that kind of dynamism. I think he'll give Virgil Ortiz a good fight, but I think he'll fall short. But I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. I think that's a good fight. Honestly, I don't really know who's on the GB squad these days. That's how much of a casual I've become. I'd probably agree, Nordic. I think I agree. I agree again, Kyle. I totally agree. Team Big Baby. Bro, that fucking Big Baby versus Anthony Joshua, gloves are off. That's one of the biggest pieces of like boxing lost media out there. People badly want to see that gloves are off episode. People badly want to see it. Me and G-Man were having this conversation the last time we went live together. We had this conversation about boxing lost media. That'd be like it'll be a good video topic, and that's a really good fucking entry. Like the gloves are off. The gloves are off episode with Miller and Joshua, because nobody's seen that. Nobody's seen that. There are some lost media videos for boxing. So Miller versus AJ, gloves are off. Deontay Wilder, Harold Scorniez. There's that one Mike Tyson fight that was never filmed. I think Kovalev versus Daniel Boone won. Again, there's no footage of that. So there's some that's an interesting video. Boxing lost media. Looking back, did Lucas Brown cheat in Grozny, or was he set up? I'm convinced he was set up, but after seeing how quickly he declined after, I was like, nah, he's juicing. Bro, Lucas Brown in that fight was moving his feet in a way I've never seen before or since. I'm convinced he was sourced up. I'm convinced. Yeah, I wonder, Nordic. I wonder. Yeah, I think he's a good boxer, Will. How he saw out his crisis against Briedis really impressed me, because he took some big shots in the second half of that fight. Really big shots that would have knocked out a lot of guys. There was an uppercut in particular, I think in the 9th round, which just jacked his head, man. And the fact he never went down shows that guy's got a great chin. Plus, he fractured his jaw in 2 places and toughed it out. Jay Opataya is a good talent. He's a tough guy. He can box a bit. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. I'd actually like to see a rematch between those two, believe it or not. I want to see Opataya again. Yeah, the boxing archives are crazy. Yeah, lost media in boxing annoys me. Surely most fights and interviews have been archived somewhere, yeah. Tyson versus Sims, that's it, yeah. That's the Tyson fight I was talking about, yeah. Yeah, Anthony Joshua is one of those guys. He gets overrated by a certain segment of fans, his fanboys. But on the same time, at the same time, I think people do go overboard with his deficiencies and what he's bad at. Anthony Joshua is a really good heavyweight. He's world class. He's top 5, top 4, top 3, honestly. He's a really good fighter, Anthony Joshua. His fanboys just overinflated him. But at the same time, I would say his haters undervalue him too much as well. He's just one of those guys to where, like, either way, if you have an opinion on Anthony Joshua, either his fanboys are going to come for you, or his haters are going to come for you. He's one of those guys. One lost media clip that I kick myself for deleting was the interview with Andre Ward and Jane Couch. If anybody has that, please upload it. I think you've mentioned that before. Oh, interesting. I heard from a boxing insider that Boxer are looking to do a little cruiserweight tournament. Opataya versus Billam Smith next. Then Okole is going to unify with the WBA, eventually leading up to Opataya versus Okole. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. That'd be a good little tournament. Yeah, I never thought Brown was set up. He was clearly in great shape and juiced. I agree. Yeah, that was against Harold Scorniez when apparently he got dropped. Well, he did get dropped. That's been verified, but apparently it was a long count. Yeah, I'd like to see it as well. People said it was on. People said that it was online at some point in time. I'm not. I never remember that being online. Yeah, there was that as well. Yeah, that was in Grozny. Yeah, Chechnya. I think Kadyrov was ringside as well. I like Billum Smith. Yeah, Chris Billum Smith is what he is. He's at a certain level. What would you say? European level maybe, but he's always in fun fights. It's barely started. It's barely started, bro. Did you see DAZN's first half schedule? Talk about mediocrity, and for £20 a month now, yeah. The only fight I'm looking forward to on that schedule really is Lee Wood and Lara. That's really the one I'm looking forward to there. And I think there might be one more as well. But it's not great, is it? Especially like announcing the price rise after like there's been 2 months of no content. Shameless. Absolutely shameless from DAZN. Yeah, I'm streaming everything now. Yeah, I think it's okay as a comeback, coming off 2 losses, to be honest. Yeah, VIP League's a good site for streaming if you want streams. Crack Streams is another one. Fury beats Usyk, he could do. He's favourite and rightly so, given the size advantage. I'd like Usyk to win, though, personally. I'd like Usyk to win. I just think it'll be perfect if Usyk were to beat Tyson Fury. I really do. Just to like, this whole supposed golden era, we're all beaten by like a little man. Never heard of that one. I'll write that down. Is that this week? Oshaki Foster versus Vargas. I thought it was a couple of weeks away. I've got Vargas on points, but I think Foster he's a live underdog. He's a live underdog in that fight. That's a solid fight. Who's on the undercard? Ray Vargas. You know, I've had this fucking head cold all week. It's fucking annoying. It's like a bullshit head cold. You know, like those head colds where you don't really feel ill, but you're just like snotty. It's one of them ones. It's fucking annoying. There's an interesting heavyweight fight on the undercard. Lenny Apero, who's Cuban, he's fighting Victor Vickhurst. 2 unbeaten heavyweights. Lenny Apero, 8-0. Victor Vickhurst, 11-0. That's a decent fight. That's a decent fight. Okay, Total Sportec. If they've ended all pay-per-views, yeah, maybe it might work. But again, I don't like how sneaky it was, man. Like again, I found out on Twitter. I never got any email or anything. So I fucking cancelled it. It's hard to say, Lee. I thought AJ was better. I thought AJ was better than the first fight, personally. So there's that as well. Plus, there's that massive size disadvantage, and he still won that fight clearly, clearly, in my opinion. I had a half giant Toblerone yesterday, and I still feel like crap. Yeah, if you've not eaten that shit for a long time and then you gorge on it, yeah, it hits you hard. I discovered that over Christmas because I don't eat chocolate at all. I don't eat it. And over Christmas I had loads of like sickly sweet stuff and I felt it. I felt it. Yeah, it would be very embarrassing if the era of the super heavyweights ended with a cruiserweight on top. That's why I want to see it, man, as well. That's why I want to see it. Because Alexander Usyk's conducted himself in his boxing career like we expect all champions. That's what we expect of all champions. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. You know, taking risks, fighting on the road, you know, not being difficult in negotiations. You know, just really, really having that desire to fight the best. That's what we want as boxing fans, and I like to see Usyk get rewarded and win that fight. Personally, I'd love to see it. And honestly, if he were to beat Tyson Fury, then just retire. Call it a day, retire. That's what I'd like to see from Usyk. Win the fight and retire. And then let these guys fight for those titles. Yeah, that's a great fight. That's a fire fight. Matias versus Ponce is going to be great. Proper fight. If Haney goes up and fights Prograis, who have you got? Honestly, I'd probably pick Prograis. I'd pick Prograis. I'd be rooting for Prograis, put it that way. I don't like Devin Haney's beta style, personally. Prograis fights properly. He goes for the knockout. He throws punches in bunches. So I'd be rooting for Prograis. But again, I can't see Devin Haney fighting Prograis. I can't. Just like same with Teofimo Lopez, who's now mandatory, but now doesn't want to fight Prograis. Which I called that after the Sandor Martin fight. If anybody thinks that Teo's going to go anywhere near Prograis, they're mistaken. Yeah, we'll see what happens with DAZN. They've said that before in regards to pay-per-views, and they went back on their word. So it's one of those, isn't it? It's one of those. Yeah, he looked poor against Casey Benjamin. Yeah, he looked poor. He looked poor. We'll see what he does in his next fight. But yeah, I agree. He looked poor. That's another thing. Yeah, Prograis is physically strong. Like even against Taylor at times, he wasn't exactly. Taylor never exactly had his own way with Prograis on the inside. He got the better of Prograis on the inside. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like Taylor dominated him, and Taylor's a much bigger man. And Devin Haney's not as strong as Taylor, doesn't hit as hard as Taylor, not as aggressive as Taylor. I'll be rooting for Prograis in that fight. Mate, I'll make no apology for that. Again, Prograis a proper fighter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree, Nordic. Yeah, Prograis is very talented. Plus, he's got the speed and power to get himself out of trouble. Yeah, like you saw that against Cepeda. Because Zepeda's a good fighter, but he just doesn't have that dynamism of Prograis. He had some moments in that fight, but Prograis was always on top, really, for the most part. There's a couple of moments here and there where Zepeda would catch him with a big shot, but for the most part, Prograis kind of dominated. But it's weird, right? I see all these guys in America, certain fighters get hyped to the fucking hills, like a Gervonta Davis, for example, even like a Jamal Charlo, guys like that. When most of these guys, they've done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing. Yet Prograis actually tried to put himself out there and fight guys, gets no credit at all. And nobody seems to be willing to support Prograis in America, which it's weird to me. It's weird to me. Maybe because he's in and around guys like Tank Davis, they see the guy as a threat. He's not as trendy, you know. Doesn't make a fool of himself, you know. He's not a degenerate. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But it is what it is. It is what it is. That wouldn't surprise me, you know, by the way. AJ versus Ngannou in the works for DAZN. Pressuring Hearn for a mega fight. Yeah, people hyping absolute jokers like Boots Ennis. I'll forgive Boots Ennis because at least he's new, he's up and coming. That's fair enough. But like, I'm talking about guys like established guys who have done nothing for years. Guys like Jamal Charlo and Tank Davis, man. It's like fucking hell, really. I mean, American boxing fans, man, they're a peculiar bunch. So maybe it wouldn't surprise me, bro. I mean, how people can't see the guy as a good fighter is just I don't understand. I really don't. Look, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure what's going on there. To be honest with you, I've not been following it at all. I've not been following it at all. The last I heard, that is what they was targeting. They were targeting April. That's what I heard. But I've heard nothing since. Is Haney dragging it out? I thought Lomachenko was scared of Haney. I thought Lomachenko was scared of Haney. That's what I thought. That's what I was told. I was told he was stuck in Haney. You know? There you go. Yeah, he doesn't have a face. if Prograis started to commit home invasions or running over pregnant women, he might gain a bigger fan base. Loma doesn't want the smoke. He'll get his jaw broken. No, I mean, let's be honest, yeah. Is Haney a difficult guy to fight? Yes. But nobody's scared to fight the guy. You're not going to get hurt. You're not going to get hurt. He's not going to take years off your life. He's going to hug you a bit. But he's not going to take years off your life. Nobody's scared to fight that guy. Do you know what I mean? Who's scared of a tickling contest? I never knew that guy was still about, to be honest. I've not heard that name for years. I don't check for those guys, though. I only watch a few boxing channels online. I don't really check for those sort of guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another thing as well. But not, again, you see with Tiafima Lopez, he's going to go nowhere near pro grade. That's what I said when they ordered that WBC eliminator with Lopez and Sandor Martin. I said it's pointless anyway because Tio's going to win and he'll go nowhere near pro grade. You know what I mean? So what he does next, I don't know because he's not got a big promoter. He's not signed with like Top Rank or a Golden Boy, anyone, Matchroom, PBC. He's not signed with any of these guys. Yeah, Michael Hunter at one point in time was a guy I really liked, but I didn't like the whole Hrgovic situation. And given how Hrgovic looked against Zili Zhang, I'm sure Michael Hunter's kicking himself. Okay, so reports are out there saying Haney wants more concessions. This fight was forced to pay-per-view. What more could he want? Yeah, I'll have to read up on that. Again, I just don't have the energy to like read into these sort of negotiations and all these reports of like, all these not yeah, I ain't got the energy for it. God fucking hell. Bro, that's crazy. You want me to tell you a story, Nordic? This is when I passed my driving test at 19. My first car was a shitty Vauxhall Corsa. And about 3 or 4 months into me driving after passing my test, I hit a deer, like smashed up against a deer, killed it, smashed my fucking car. I stopped. I pulled the deer out of a road, like, put it on the side of the road so nobody else would hit it. I felt fucking terrible. I stopped for a fucking deer. I stopped for a fucking deer. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, he got scared and ran. Jesus Christ. Yeah. You imagine Ngannou knocks out AJ. Did I make venison stew? Probably should have. Probably should have. But yeah, I felt terrible. I can't lie. I felt terrible. Speaking of the devil, what's the deal with Tio? He wants a Josh Taylor fight. I don't think it happens. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't think Tio knows what the deal is with Tio. To be honest, J7. Yeah, Tank is just fucking Peter Pan. Peter Pan syndrome. Never grew up. I can't lie though. I don't even know who this John Boxing character is. Okay, I'm not sure. I heard Team. Oh, hang on. I've got a pop up. Not pop up. One of those Windows pop ups. Sorry, I'm not sure. I heard Team Loma wanted more money. It makes sense as Loma's an old man, and it's probably his last big payday if he loses. But Haney might be using the belts to milk more money. I don't see. By the way, I don't see how that fight goes on pay-per-view. I don't see how that fight goes on pay-per-view. That's gonna flop hard. That's gonna flop hard. How's that fight a pay-per-view? That won't break. What's that going to break? Barely 100K? Steady on, Al. Let's not go too far. I took it out the road, did my thing. We don't want to get the police involved. We don't want to get the police involved. I want as little interaction with those reprobates as possible. Limited interaction. That woman could have died along with her unborn child, and then how would it have looked? Yeah, John Boxing and his ilk would have probably still excused it. Probably right. Okay, he's one of those. Okay, I'll have to check him out of curiosity now. That's a circle of life, my friend. That's the circle of life, yeah. At least the foxes feasted for a few days. Yeah, that's the circle of life, I guess, right? Is AJ and Garner a bigger fight than Wilder? Because of the UFC, boxing, and WWE crowd, it might be bigger. I don't think so, personally. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, more confused than Scooby-Doo. Yeah, just for law, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I get you, Al. I get you. I can't afford to lose too many more, Nordic. You cruel man. Yeah, I wouldn't pay for it personally. Even like UK pay-per-view price, I wouldn't pay for that fight. Because regardless of how it goes, it's going to be a boring fight. It's going to be a boring fight. So I wouldn't pay for it personally. I wouldn't pay for it. Hang on 1 second. By the way, Mario Barrios is back on that card as well, the Ray Vargas card this weekend. Mario Barrios, Jesus. Yeah, he's still going strong, Benavidez. Good thing about him, though, he doesn't really live an extravagant life outside of boxing. Doesn't like drink or party or anything like that. So he might be okay for another year or so. But I've kind of lost hope on Benavidez B-roll. I don't think that fight's going to happen, personally. I don't think that fight's going to happen. And you're right, exactly. If we want that fight at any real, like, at its best, it has to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. Anything beyond that, then it's not the fight it once was. Has to happen soon. But the boxing world doesn't want it to happen. I actually think John Boxing's a parody account. No way somebody would keep going out of their way to keep humiliating themselves, expose yourself as a liar and a hypocrite, and be totally unaware. You're probably giving him too much credit, therefore, more than likely just mental illness. More than likely just mental illness. Probably is, Beterbiev, yeah, 38 years old, light heavyweight. Who else? Who else is in and around his age who's operating at a high level right now? Not many guys. Not many guys. Donny Nietes was pretty good in his late 30s recently. But yeah, there's not many guys late 30s at the minute in boxing who are doing well. Beterbiev's probably the only one. Yeah, I can imagine, bro. I can imagine. That guy sounds like a fucking idiot, whoever he is. What's up, LT? How you doing, bro? By the way, big up to yourself for uploading the Navarrete fight. That's how I watched it. So big up to yourself, man. Yeah, Callum has a shot. Listen, Callum can punch. Callum can punch, and he's got good timing. The only thing is, if Beterbiev closes that distance and gets in Callum's chest, Callum's fucked because he couldn't handle John Ryder on the inside. So doing it against I don't think he'll do it against Beterbiev. He needs to catch Beterbiev coming in with that check left hook, that counter left hook. And that is a good shot from Callum Smith. He's got a really good left hook. Yeah, Golovkin's the current oldest world champion, but I think Beterbiev's operating at a higher level right now, I would say. But who knows? We'll see where Golovkin goes next. He's got mandatories coming out of his ass. He's got to fight fucking Lara and the Australian dude, Zarafa. Yeah, Pacquiao against Furman was a good shout. Yeah, Pacquiao against Furman. What was Pacquiao, 41 when he took that fight? Or 40, 41? Yeah, Callum Smith versus Beterbiev in the UK is a big fight. It is a big fight, yeah. And I don't mind that fight, by the way. It's not a bad fight at all. It's a really good fight, but we need to see Undisputed. That's what we need to see. We need to see Undisputed. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yeah, Golovkin's definitely regressed. But he's still got enough, though, to beat the likes of a lot of those guys at middleweight, in my opinion. Maybe that goes to show how bad the middleweight division is. The fact a 40-year-old can still beat most of them. But see, for Golovkin now, like, he's got a fight or two left. He should just prioritize like real fun fights that are going to do numbers. So Jaime Munguia in America would be a great fight. Maybe fight Liam Smith in the UK. These sort of fights, man. Fights that are going to be exciting. Fights that are going to sell tickets. Who wants to see fucking Golovkin fight a 40-year-old Lara? I don't. Who wants to see Golovkin versus Michael Zarafa? Yeah, what he did to Castillo, that knockout was fucking nasty. How he knocked out Castillo was savage. No idea, though. No idea how he's mandatory, though, considering who he's beat at light heavyweight. Yeah, okay. Is that what Hearn's saying? I've not seen that. So yeah, Beterbiev Bivol not going to happen. Never going to happen. Unfortunately. I think more than likely what will happen, Beterbiev eventually is just going to get old and someone's going to beat him. Maybe a Callum Smith. Maybe someone like Callum Smith. I'd still take Beterbiev to win that fight, but as you know, He's at that point in his career now where the wheels are going to fall off. They're going to fall off soon. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Benavidez going to get knocked off before he fights Bivol, basically. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, that was a nasty knockout. Yeah, but it looked like he got hit with a taser. You know, you see those tweakers like go fucking spazzing out in front of police. Then they whip the fucking taser out. That's what it looked like. Yeah, it's like Kovalev Stevenson all over again. But this is even more egregious to me because to me it's the boxing world that's holding this back. Like the powers that be don't want this fight to happen. Two Russians fighting for undisputed. Even though one guy's half Korean, half Moldovan, and the other guy is from Dagestan. Dagestan. If you ask a Dagestani behind closed doors, are you Russian or Dagestani? They're going to say, I'm Dagestani. You can make you know what I'm saying? It's fucking nonsense. It's politics getting in the way. That's what it is. Yeah, there is that. Because they can't use the excuse, oh, Lara's old. Well, so's Golovkin. But yeah, Lara, no interest, really. Yeah, WBC said they won't let a Russian in Bivol fight for the belt. And you got a few issues with networks, promoters, and money. I just don't see how it happens. Callum is Mando and Canelo triggered a rematch. Yeah, exactly. Even though Beterbiev is technically Russian on his passport, he's holding the WBC title. So what? Bivol can't fight for the WBC then against Canelo at 168. Yeah. So what? So Bivol versus Canelo at 168 is not for undisputed then? Or magically are they going to allow Bivol to fight for that WBC title? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We all know. We all know. We all know. They just don't want two Russian guys, even though they're not really all that Russian. They don't want two Russian guys fighting for world titles in undisputed. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, WBCR scum is just virtue signaling at it to the highest degree. You know, it's just virtue signaling to the highest degree. Which is a shame, really. But yeah, I wouldn't hold up. I wouldn't hold out any hope for that fight happening. There's that as well. Isn't Kovalev Russian? Why did the WBC recently order him to fight Machunu? Yeah. We be crooks. Yeah, exactly, Al. We be crooks. That's the WBC for you. Say one thing one day, do another thing the next. It's insane. Insane. Again, who's asking Maurizio Suleiman these questions, though? Who's asking the WBC these questions? Yeah, exactly. We back Canelo, we breed confusion. Yeah, exactly. It's a shame, really. It's a shame because it's such a good fight, and it's only going to be a good fight. It's only going to be a good fight. It's only going to remain a good fight for a short period of time due to Beterbiev's age. That fight needs to be prioritized, and it needs to happen next. To be honest, it needs to happen next. Yeah, I guess. I see. Even the ring belt, though, man, they're all corrupt to a certain degree. Yeah, I would like to see it, bro. I would like to see it. I wouldn't mind that solution, Zion. Yeah, we was talking about this earlier on the undercard of Ray Vargas. Yeah, that's a good fight. I've not seen much of Lenny Apero. Victor Vikhurst is a guy who, when he turned pro, I quite liked the look of him. But man, recently he's not been looking too hot. He got dropped by Iago Kaladze recently. Looks a bit fucking susceptible to me. But I see Lenny Apero's record had a few MDs early in his career. So how good he is, I don't know. I've not seen Lenny Apero fight before. But yeah, two unbeaten heavyweights going at it's always a good thing. Two good amateurs or former amateurs. Yeah, it does. It does. I said that after in my post-fight review. Like to me, Bivol looked like he was carrying Canelo towards the end because Canelo looked spent. He looked so fucking tired to the point where if you actually watch that fight back in the last few rounds, he was struggling to hold his hands up at times. I expect Pero to win by UD. I think Vic Hurst will gas. Sorry. Yeah, I agree, Nordic. I agree. He looks talented, but yeah, chinny. A lot of these heavyweight prospects, man, who are coming up, man, over the last few years have been kind of exposed. I remember a guy called Alexander Teslenko who actually looked good, and he got exposed. There's been a few like that. There's been a few like that. But even guys who I didn't really rate, guys like Junior Farr and Hemia Hio, those guys as well, they got exposed. And Fraser Clark doesn't really impress me. Honestly, out of all of the up and comers in the last sort of 3 to 4 years, Frank Sanchez really is the only one to go on and look anything decent, like look decent. And Joe Joyce, obviously, and Joe Joyce. Yeah, it's a good fight. I like that fight. I got Joe Joyce, but Zili Zhang's dangerous. He's got a really good sneaky southpaw counter shot, straight left hand, and he carries power. So that's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. Yeah, there's that big boys boxing. Too many tomato cans before they step up. Yep, and they're too inactive as well. It's like the other. What's that Ukrainian guy? I forget his name now. Surenko. I mean, I've been hearing about Surenko now for the best part of 6 years. And what's that guy doing? How can you be a prospect? Look at Surenko's record on BoxCheck. Yeah. So yeah, probably 7 years I've been hearing about this guy Surenko, right? Turned pro in 2017. How can you still be a prospect like 6 years in your career? 6 years into your career. How can you be a prospect 6 years into your career? And the guy never fought last year either. I agree. Never rated that guy. He's another one who got recently found out. He got found out twice though. He got found out against Jonathan Wright and against Kingsley eBay. He does have a good chin. I can't lie. He does have a good chin. Yeah, Anderson. I think Anderson is fighting in April. He looks for goods like offensively. I do worry about his defense though. I do worry about his defense. Yeah, I felt Zhang beat Hergovic. I felt Zhang won that fight. Yeah, Chris Eubank Jr. has been a prospect for 13 years. Yeah, he's basically like the Jesse Lingard of boxing. Like Jesse Lingard's a football player out here who was like called a prospect for like 10 years. Eastern European fighters are turning soft. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if they're basing their careers out here from the start, they probably will become softer. Honestly. Honestly, when it comes to Eastern Europe and combat sports, like Dagestan, Chechnya is where it's at. But most of those guys are turning to MMA. Most of those guys are turning to MMA now. You never know. Huey Fury's still a baby. He's only 27. I still see the deluded people, by the way, like proclaiming Huey Fury as a future world heavyweight champion. How deluded can you be? Jalanov looks good. He does. Good southpaw. 6'6", 6'7", can move well. Good power, good straight punches. But I question that guy's chin. I question his chin and his stamina. Yeah, if he gets a regular title, I think he would have done. I think he would have done well. It's possible, though. It's possible. I mean, Huey's pulled out more times than I can think of. More guys than more times than I can count. No, I don't think he can beat anybody of consequence in the top 10. I don't think he can beat them. I don't think he's that good at all, to be honest. Good at all. Listen. He's awkward. He's crafty. He's got a good chin, but offensively, there's nothing there. His jab is meek and weak. No commitment behind that jab. Can't throw a straight right hand. Telegraphs it all the time. Loops it. No power. Low output. I don't think he's that great at all. Huey Fury. Really, he's a good spoiler, and if he were to like stick around and have more and have more fights, he'll become like a good gateway fighter, good gatekeeper. Could Huey Fury knock out Dubois? I'd actually like to see it. I'd like to see that fight. Could Huey knock out Dubois? Given that Dubois has got like an eggshell chin by the looks of it. Nah, honestly, I think that's just marketing. I think that's just marketing. I don't think he'll try and beat it, personally. Exactly, big boys, especially with that right hand. It's so telegraphed. So telegraphed. Yeah, listen, he seems like a real nice kid, Huey Fury. I say kid, he's a fucking grown man. He seems like a nice guy, but he seems like one of those guys who was like forced into a sport even though he probably didn't enjoy it all that much. Does that make sense? He just does it because it's what he does. Yeah, Dubois could quit. Yeah, now that's a good fight. That's actually a good fight. I would like to see it. That's a good fight. That's so cruel. Remember when Mick Hennessy remortgaged his house to stage Huey Fury versus Parker in the UK? Poor Mick will never pay off his mortgage. Fucked up part. I was hoping he'd lose his house. You're such a savage. You're such a savage. Did he actually remortgage his house, or was that like an urban legend? Huey's man strength will come through. Give him time. Yeah, Fabio Wardley seems to have heart. Yeah. Listen, man. Yeah, Dubois, he ain't it. Like, Frank's got to be super fucking careful matching that guy. If I was Frank, if this Moses kid's any good, Moses Atalma, I'd keep Dubois fresh for that guy, honestly. That's what they're going to try and do. I've cracked it. So Dubois is the regular WBA champion, right? They'll make Dubois defend that belt a couple of times against absolute no-hopers. And Moses Atalma, 8th or 9th fight, will fight Dubois for the regular title before he's 20, and they'll say he beat Mike Tyson's record. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, in my opinion. Moses Atalma versus Daniel Dubois in the next 18 months. If they're on it, maybe they're... I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to do that. Wouldn't be shocked. I don't know. I don't know how good this Moses kid is. No idea. I've never seen any of his amateur fights. The guy in his first pro fight took a blatant dive. I've got no idea how good this guy is. He could be complete shit for all I know. I don't know. The only thing I could say from his pro debut was that he looked pretty quick, I guess. Good shape, you know. Yeah, Sanchez. Listen, Sanchez, his style, he's not going to make any fans, but he's awkward as hell. Mike Tyson could come out of retirement and take on Dubois to prevent that. Probably right, bro. Yeah, if Wardley trained early, it'd have been be interesting. Oh, Hearns. I take Tommy Hearns personally. Too big, too long. He'd punch over. I think he'd punch over Floyd's shoulder roll with that right hand. Plus, Tommy Hearns had a remarkably good jab. I drunk something, bro. I don't do lines. Drinking beer. But yeah, I take Tommy Hearns. Daniel Dubois or Manny Pacquiao, who wins? Oh, if we said Dubois, sorry, my bad. Duran or Manny? Oh, Duran. I'd say, nah. At 135, Duran. At 35, Duran, in my opinion. At 47, I think Manny might beat him. I think Manny might beat him at 47. But Pacquiao at 35... I'm going to say Duran at 35. 135. And Pacquiao at 147. It's a great fight, though. That's one of the all-time great fantasy fights, in my opinion. That's one of the all-time great fantasy fights. Two of the best pound-for-pound level talents that boxing scene. Dillian White knocks him out. In my opinion, I think Dillian White knocks out Dubois. I know Dubois. I know Dillian looked bad against Franklin, but Dubois against that fucking guy, what's his name? Kevin Lorena, bro, his chin is he's got an eggshell chin. And at least with Dillian White, I know he'll be tough enough to try and get up and fight through it. I don't have that same faith in Dillian White. I don't have the same faith in Dubois. I take Dillian White by knockout. I think Dillian White knocks out Dubois. I wouldn't be shocked if White manages to get into Dubois' head and spooks him. But at the same time, White's chin these days is fucking poor as well. So listen, both guys, someone's getting knocked out. That's a great fight. It's a great fight. Dubois got a chance, don't get me wrong, but he's younger, he's fresher, he's got a better punch technique, I would say. But Dillian's a better fighter. I think he's a harder man, tougher man. No, there's no doubt in my mind. He is a tougher man, in my opinion. More of a natural fighter. I'd probably take White. It's a good fight, though. Al thinks probably Dubois. Again, I could see it. Ricky Hatton versus Josh Taylor, 140 in their primes. Oh, God. That's a hard one. I'd probably lean towards Josh Taylor in the narrowest of fights. Probably like a split decision. Like both at their best. I'd probably lean towards Taylor in like a split decision. Good fight, though. Yeah, Brad Pauls is okay, but Tyler Denny is one of those guys who he's exposed prospects at like English level, like fringe, like British level. He's exposed a few up and coming prospects who never turned out to be much. If you'd make Brad Pauls a favourite, but Tyler Denny's a live dog. It's one of those sort of fights. It's a test for Brad Pauls. It's a test. Yeah, Eamon McGee gave Hatton a lot of trouble. He was dropped in that fight if I recall. Correct? I think he was. Zero or 1%. Like he could land a punch like from the gods, but Joe Joyce will wreck him. Underrated beer. Good question. Underrated beer. There's a Japanese beer, I forget what it's called, which I really like. It's in like a silver bottle. It's got a silver label. I forget what it's called, but I quite like that. Yeah, he was dropped. Yeah, that was it. I remember that fight. Yeah. Eddie Hearn's a scumbag, man. Honestly, Manny Pacquiao, Conor Benn. The guy's shameless. Honestly, the guy is shameless. Ashai, I think that's the one. Yeah, Ashai. Yeah, I like Cobra as well. Cobra with a curry, like a nice a big bottle of Cobra with a curry. Honestly, the best takeaway you can imagine. A nice curry, a nice hot curry, big cold bottle of Cobra. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. It's amazing. Amazing. But yeah, Cobra's one, Ashai's another. Do you prefer gravy or curry on your chips? Curry, personally. Curry sauce. Curry sauce, but the problem is like when you go to like chip shops, man, the curry sauce varies so much. I hate when curry sauce is too runny. It's fucking annoying. And I just don't trust gravy from chip shops. But yeah, nice curry sauces. I like curry sauce, man. It's one of those things though. When I cook for myself, I never make like curry sauce for like chips and shit. Honestly, I only drink wife beater these days. A good old Stella. I like Stella. But Stella gets a bad rap, but I like Stella. You know, back in the day, back in my dad's day when he was up and coming, Stella used to be a bit of a hipster drink, believe it or not. Stella Artois. Turkish food is immense. If you like meat, then you'll like Turkish food. Obviously, apart from there's no pork. But pork is my least favorite anyway, so that doesn't bother me. If you like stuff like lamb, then Turkish food is your go-to. Turkish food is fucking nice. I can't lie. Turkish food is really good. Like real Turkish kebabs, insanely good. Insanely good. There's a Turkish restaurant near me, like in the town over, and I went there for I actually took this girl there for her birthday, and yeah, that's a nice restaurant, man. It's really good. I'm not a beer connoisseur anymore. Neither am I, really, honestly. Neither am I. I like to try something new now and again if I see anything new in the shops, but I don't go anywhere special to do my shopping. So if I buy beer, it's only going to be the usual shit, you know? And I'm not going to order beer online like a degenerate. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to order beer online. Yeah, I agree, Nordic. I agree. Good old chicken masala. Tikka masala, yeah, love them. I like most curries, man. I love curry. Curry to me is just a really good comfort food. It's a really good comfort food. I love curry. Thick but not fat. Greek, Turkish, Lebanese, Persian meat is guilty pleasure. Yeah, they cook meat well. I've had Lebanese as well. They're similar to Turkish. It's good. It just tastes like it's like how they lay out their food and shit. It's like how a king would eat. It sounds silly, but they know how to cook. They know how to cook, man. They really do. Two things I've learned about the Turkish. They can really cook, underrated cuisine, and they can cut your hair well. I go to a Turkish barber's, and every single time, no matter who cuts my hair, make a sick job, honestly. Great job. They'll autocorrect. Yeah, thanks. I'm a cocaine connoisseur. Listen, man, you do you. Yeah, a nice fish and chips Nordic is fucking amazing. I've not had fish and chips for a while. There's no good, honestly though. There's I don't think there's any great fish and chip shops near me. The ones I've had haven't been that great, to be honest. I don't think maybe I've not tried them all, but the ones I have ordered from around here, they've not been great. Yeah, fish and chips near the sea is a different level. It's a different level. Maybe that's psychological because everyone says that, but it does taste better. It does taste better. But even like all seafood, obviously, it's fresher, obviously, near the sea. I had like if you've had like fresh crab, not store bought crab, but like fresh crab, it's fucking amazing, honestly. Absolutely amazing. They're hard to find now. They're hard to find. Good fish and chip shops. Oh wow. Not surprised, Dustin. Not surprised, bro. That's why these days, man, I try not to get excited about potential fights. I'll basically take what we have and I'll go from there. Because there's a time when I'd get excited about every potential fight and you'd be let down time and time again. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Doesn't surprise me. I'm not a big fan of honestly, I'm not a big fan of putting vinegar on my chips. I don't mind a little bit, but just a nice healthy portion of salt does me nicely. Oh, is that true? Edinburgh have banned meat in schools. That can't be true. Surely that's some clickbait headline. They're mandating plant-based menus. That's insane. I'd be fuming if I was a fucking parent. I'd be fuming, honestly. I can't believe Scotland is less based than England. That's mad. That's mad. That's crazy. That surprised me, honestly. Just give them packed lunches. I wouldn't really mind, to be honest, Rem. Wouldn't really mind. Even the nursing homes are in on it. Fucking hell. Now, it doesn't. I say it should. It doesn't really surprise me though. That's insane. It almost seems like indoctrination, right? A little bit. Just a conspiracy theory. Probably have us eating. There'll probably be bugs on the menu soon, like deep fried crickets or like dried mealworms or something like that. Insane, isn't it? It's insane. Yeah, I had packed lunch as a kid going to school. School lunches when I was a kid were too fucking expensive. For my parents, at least. Like I had packed lunch, sandwiches, packet of crisps, and a chocolate bar. That's what I had, and like an orange or something. That was my packed lunch. Like ham and cheese sandwiches, orange, crisps, and a chocolate bar. Ebony Bridges, because she's probably more used to it, I guess. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad Nordic. And I'm sure they'll push for another referendum vote soon. Scottish independence. Even though the country voted, what, 5, 6 years ago, whatever it was, set 8 years ago. Yeah, he won that fight against Badu Jack. No, I think he lost that fight, Levi. I think he lost against Badu Jack. I felt he won that fight. Yeah, I had stuff like that. Tuna sandwiches, ham and cheese sandwiches. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, Nicola Sturgeon is one of the most insipid, wretched politicians I've seen in a while. And that says something, considering she reminds me of what's that woman's name? Who, the ex-New Zealand Prime Minister. She reminds me of her. That's a weird fight. Zach Chelly versus Anthony Sims. It's a good fight, though. It's a weird fight, but it's a good fight. Not former. I think she's still current, but I think she's stepping down. Jacinta Ardern, I think her name is. Yeah. Isn't she stepping down? Yeah, that's it. Jacinta Ardern, yeah. But all of these politicians are crazy, man. They're not worth paying any mind to. Honestly, they're not worth paying any mind to. Sturgeon is a satanic child abuser and a deeply hateful person. She hates everything that has to do with being Scottish, British, or European. Yeah, she stepped down 2 days ago. Yeah, I thought I saw that in the news. Fish finger sandwiches are low-key underrated. Even now, I will make one now and again. I'm not gonna lie, they are nice. I don't think Mark Chamberlain's a heavyweight. I'm thinking of another Chamberlain. Yeah, but the Mark Chamberlain you're thinking about is a lightweight. Mark Chamberlain's all right, by the way. He's decent. He's solid. He's like he'll probably get to like British level maybe at lightweight. Adelaide, I don't know how. I mean, Adelaide lost to Sakalowski in my opinion, but he is young. He could get better. Yeah, both guys are washed. Yeah, Austin Trout versus Diego Sanchez in a bare knuckle fight. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I guess both guys need the money. I'd imagine Austin Trout wins. He is younger. Sanchez has sustained a lot more punishment in MMA. I'd imagine Austin Trout wins. What's up? What's up, John? How you doing, bro? Brandon, salute to Brandon Blanco. Long time no see, bro. Hopefully you're well. I pray that the union remains intact, because as messed up as the UK is right now, the union represents one nation under God. Back to the days when King James united us under the Bible. I think eventually it will split. I think eventually it's going to split. Personally, I think it will split. I think Scotland more than likely will leave at some point in time. I saw a dude driving a car yesterday, all dented and windows smashed out, like someone took to it with a baseball bat, and then after it went past, it had kiddie fucker spray painted on the boot. Fucking hell. And that guy was still driving that shit about. Fucking hell. Well, hopefully that guy gets what's coming to him, man. Hopefully that guy gets what's coming to him. That's another thing I read about Scotland, about in legal. Again, I read this a while ago, and I don't have the sources in front of me. But I think in legal documentation, they wanted to change the term paedophile to minor attracted person, something like that. Nordic probably has a better grasp on what I'm talking about there, being from Scotland himself. It was something like that, and it just... Why? Why? Why do you want to humanize those sort of people? I believe I know why. I believe I believe in the quote unquote conspiracy theory that there's a lot of people out there who want to normalize that behavior slowly and surely. They want to normalize it. Yeah, 130 Navarrete doesn't have that size anymore. He doesn't have that size. He still has strength. He still has punch output. He's still got a certain amount of power, but he doesn't have that sheer size that he had at 126 and 122. Based on what I saw, and I know it's quite reactionary, but Oscar Valdez will fancy his chances against Navarrete. I could see a repeat of Burchelt, to be honest. I could see a repeat of Burchelt. Oh, Mike Balogun's fighting Gassiev. Okay. I guess that's okay for Gassiev. I guess that's okay for Gassiev. Yeah, he's fighting Gassiev 3rd of March in Yerevan. Interesting. Interesting. In Armenia. Random, isn't it? That's a bit random. It's a good fight, though. Yeah, we should have left the EU. Yeah, I'm glad we did. Although not much has changed, but... I mean, have you seen the EU trying to implement that carbon tax? Like, for people who use, like, obviously carbon, like petrol cars, diesel cars, things like that. Yeah, it was a really good fight, man. It was a really good fight. I can't lie. Wilson did a lot better than I expected. Honestly, I expected him to go in there and get bowled over. But Wilson, in defeat, made a name for himself. He'll get some calls again, Liam Wilson. He'll get some calls again, no doubt. Yeah, he impressed me, Liam Wilson. He impressed me. Nearly had Navarrete out of there. I think the whole long count thing, I think some people went a little overboard. Yeah, Navarrete got time to recover. But at the same time, Wilson did catch him on the floor. So it's like, it's one of those. See, I wouldn't mind seeing Liam Wilson over in the UK, maybe fight someone like Zelfa Barrett. I think that'd be a good fight. I think that'll be a good fight. Felix Sturm is fighting on February the 18th. Well, he needs the money because he went to prison, didn't he? He went to prison. He lost. He's been fighting. He lost a couple of years ago. He lost his last fight. I think it might have been last year, maybe. Yeah, he lost his last fight against Itzvan Svili. "44 years old, Felix Sturm. I think Diaz would have done okay in today's era. Juan Diaz was a good fighter. Juan Diaz was a pretty good fighter. Yeah, I think Diaz would have done okay. I think Diaz would be a top 5 contender in today's lightweight division. Solid fighter, Diaz. His fights with Marquez, man, was sick. I think he retired, but he retired like probably before he should have. I think after he fought Marquez, he retired, and then he became like a lawyer or something. Then he attempted a comeback, but wasn't really looking good, and just called it a day again. But yeah, Diaz was a good fighter. Yeah, the Katsidas fight was another one. Yeah, Katsidas was a fucking very fun fighter though. Like Katsidas, man, he stuck around too long, but Katsidas was a good fighter. I'll always remember his fight with Graham Earl in the UK. That was a fucking war, man. Graham Earl was near from where I'm from, and yeah, that was a great fight with Graham Earl. Knocked out Kevin Mitchell, of course, first man to beat Kevin Mitchell, because that was supposed to be Kevin Mitchell's coming out party to world level. And Katsidas came over and blitzed him in a round or two. That was at Upton Park at West Ham's ground as well, in a stadium. And Katsidas just blasted him out. Katsidas was a good fighter, but he let his nuts hang too much. He let his nuts hang too much. But yeah, one of my favourite Australian fighters, Katsidas. One of my favourite Australian fighters. And if you look at it right now, like Australia, they're actually having a mini resurgence in boxing. They're having a mini resurgence. Because if you look at it, listen, George Kambosos, in my opinion, he was a weak champion, but he's a solid fighter. He became a world champion, solid fighter. Jay Opataya, really good cruiserweight. Tim Zhu, bright fighter in my opinion, good contender at 154. Steve Spark, decent fighter at 140. He beat Montana Love. Liam Parrow, good contender at 140. Andrew Maloney, Jason Maloney, two good fighters. Liam Wilson, of course. Justice Hooney, good heavyweight prospect. Australian boxing right now is looking as good as it's looked for a little while, to be honest. Australian boxing right now is not looking too bad. Considering only a few years ago it was piss weak. Yeah, it's a great fight. And Mickey Van, the referee, Graham L's corner threw in the towel, I think in like the second round. And he threw it back out. So no, this fight's continuing. He saw something in Graham Earl that he wasn't done. That was great refereeing, man. Great refereeing. Just threw the towel out, let him fight on. Amazing. Amazing. And then after that, Graham Earl drops Michael Katsidis. And he gets back in the fight for a bit. But eventually, Katsidis gets on top of him, drops him again, beats him up, and he gets stopped. But yeah, man, that's a great fight. I watched that fight back now and again. I remember seeing that on ITV4. That was 07, I believe. I think it was 2007. Because it was a year I'd either just left... I'd just started high school, I believe. Or just before I started high school. I forget exactly when it was in 07, but it was a tremendous fight. Tremendous fight. Pardon me. Jesus. Bit of a coughing fit there. Fucking hell. No, I never saw it. Levi, never saw it. Yeah, watch Graham Earl, Michael Katsidis. It's worth watching. It's worth watching. Graham Earl, though, he got arrested. He got sent to prison years later. I went to his gym, Graham Earl's gym, but he got sent down. He got sent down for drug trafficking, I believe. He got sent down for drug trafficking, and his gym closed down. I think somebody else took it over, and it was never as good. I stopped going before he got arrested, but apparently the gym wasn't as good after he left. But yeah, one of those ones. Yeah, Graham Earl could crack. Yeah, Graham Earl could crack. But yeah, I went to his gym. He had a gym in a place called Hitchin, and I went there for a while. I also went to Matt Skelton's gym as well. That's no longer there either. Matt Skelton's gym was in Bedford on Eastcott's estate. I think Eastcott's Road. And that was a good gym for a little while. But that's kind of mixed though. They did kickboxing there as well. Like Muay Thai and shit like that. But Matt Skelton, he was there quite a lot. He was a decent guy as well, like pretty nice guy, Matt Skelton. Back in the days of like Audley Harrison, Matt Skelton, Martin Rogan, Danny Williams, Michael Sprott, those domestic days. He was around mid-2000s. He actually fought Ruslan Shagayev as well, went the distance. Matt Skelton was a decent domestic fighter back in his day. Yeah, Skelton was awkward in his prime. He was awkward because of that. He had a Muay Thai background. Because when he turned up to the gym, he always used to turn up in like a fucking Lambo. But he was a nice guy, Matt Skelton. He was a solid dude. Weirdly though, the last time I saw him was just before fucking COVID. It was like start of 2020. And he was in better shape then than he was in his career. Well, the last time I saw him, he was in better shape then. But he still lives in Bedford, Matt Skelton. Yeah, but that's an exhibition, right? Boxing brains. I don't really watch Tommy Fury fight, so I saw some highlights of an exhibition he had. I think it was on that fucking Mayweather card. Yeah, probably won't take place, bro. Nobody's gonna buy that shit. Nobody's gonna buy it, are they? But yeah, Matt Skelton, he was a decent guy. Most of the boxers I've met though have been pretty fucking cool, pretty down to earth. I didn't really meet Graham Earl that many times. When I did though, he was punchy. I can't lie, he was punchy. Graham Earl was punchy, and yeah, he got sent down. I think he got sent down to like 8 years in prison, something like that. I forget when it was. I want to say 2014, but in and around 2014, he got sent down. And the people who took over his gym, man, just fucking made it overpriced. It turned into a glorified fucking boxer size type of place. And that's the problem with this area. There's never really been that many good boxing gyms. And the ones that were decent are now closed. Don't really understand it, but there's room for a good boxing gym in this area, but nobody really opens one. I guess there's no money in it though. I guess there's no money in it. I read a comment that said if Chris Eubank and Tony Bellew had offspring, it would look like fucking Fraser Clark. Last time I went, it was last year at some point. I think it was about spring last year. And I jumped straight into sparring. And after a round, I was done, bro. I can't lie. After a round, I was done. I kind of turned into like fucking a journeyman, just spoiling. I only did 3 rounds as well. I only did 3 rounds, and I was like, "Fuck this, man! I had nothing about me. Put it that way." And I started okay. I remember starting okay. Boxed quite well early, first round. As soon as second round came, I was like, "Fuck!" I lost all my shape. Just yeah, I was kind of fucked, kind of done. But yeah, I don't have the stamina I used to. I could easily get it back though. I could get it back. Or maybe that's me deluding myself. Who knows? Who knows? But it's good fun. Yeah, I should as well, Nordic. Like go down the boxing gym, even a day or two, even like a day a week, kind of thing. You know, keep sharp, kind of thing, and do a little bit of work outside as well, outside the gym, just to stay sharp. You know. I used to get too many nosebleeds. I had a glass nose. I got a few nosebleeds. I got a fucking big nose. Oh, I got a big nose. I got a few nosebleeds when I boxed, especially at the start. I got a lot of nosebleeds. But after once I've learnt a little bit. I didn't really get many. The worst really for me was like after one spar. The worst I felt was after one spar. I did more rounds. I did 6 rounds, which was a lot considering I never had any amateur fights. And after, it was a hard spar in the moment, but like I got through it okay. But when I finished, when I got home, so I drove home all okay. When I got home, I turned the light on when I got in, and my head was just not spinning, but it's like the light just penetrated into my brain. And every time I saw light, like artificial light for the next few days, well, the next couple of days maybe, I just had a splitting headache, man. I probably had some sort of fucking concussion or something, honestly. Some sort of concussion. But every time I saw like bright light, it would just go. I can't explain it. It just felt like it would penetrate into my brain and give me a headache. Like it would hurt my eyes, and it would just penetrate into my brain and give me a headache. It's probably like a fucking concussion. Probably a concussion or something. Or like a minor concussion. That's the only time that happened. I never had it before or since then. Sparring. And he wasn't a particularly. I don't even remember. It was a hard spot, but I don't remember getting like cracked with massive shots. He was hitting me, but I don't remember getting like smacked up with big shots. Like when you get hit with by someone who can punch, you feel it, and you know when someone has power basically. But this guy who I was sparring, not really. But I felt it the next couple of days. So he obviously put hands on me. That's the only time that happened. I never got dropped though, not with a headshot. I got dropped to the body more than once, I can't lie. Like in my second spar, I got dropped to the body. And I got dropped a couple more times to the body after that. I never got dropped with a headshot, which I'm pretty proud of, considering I was shit as well. It's probably some sort of it was probably some sort of concussion, like a mild concussion. But the thing is, I never remember him hitting me with like big shots. He didn't. He was hitting me, but like not. Like he didn't feel like a big puncher. Because I've sparred people who can hit, and you can just feel it, even on your gloves, even on your arms. You can just feel it. You can feel it like when they hit you, just kind of it goes through you almost. Like you just feel it in your body, even when they're hitting your gloves and your arms. You feel the force. But yeah, I need to start sparring again. I need to do a day or two at the gym. But again, it's finding a gym to go to. That's a problem. That's the problem. It's finding a good gym. I don't really know what's around here these days in terms of boxing gyms. There's some in Luton, but Luton's too far to fucking go. I'm not driving 10 miles. But I go to a boxing gym. Fuck that shit. I'm not doing that. Yeah, maybe just from being punched repeatedly. I guess that's what it is. Or whatever, that's what it was. But no, I need to wrap this one up. I got to work tomorrow. I am working from home, so I don't need to get up super early, but I need to be up by like 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna wrap this one up, guys. Been nearly 3 hours, so we've done okay. We've done okay. Hopefully I'll be able to stream more often, but it's finding time. But yeah, guys, have a good rest of your week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I'll try and upload more frequently on the channel as well. But yeah, there's not really been much to talk about recently, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, guys, have a good rest of your week. Stay safe, and peace out.